Hey everybody, I am JP Leonard.
And I'm Tyler Arceneaux.
And you are watching and listening to We're Dying Down Here.
We are so dying down here.
We are dead.
Yes, incredible.
It's been a while since
a
we
month,
recorded.
At least, yeah.
Yeah, we've been on the road, but we got so much more for you. First of all, go to the YouTube, Lafayette Comedy YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button. I don't care if you watch them. Just hit that subscribe button so we can make millions of dollars.
Yeah, absolutely.
But also watch and subscribe. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on the Spotify with video. And this episode, we have the wonderful Ariel Elias coming at you.
Incredible. Let's get it.
Roll it. And we are still here and back. We're back in here.
We're feeling good. It's kind of nippy in here.
Got some Lafayette new comedy shirts, buddy.
Oh, that is cool.
Changed it up.
Man, it reminds me of something, but I can't really put my finger on it.
A shirt?
It's a tee?
A T-ball?
No, it's almost like 80s kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's got a good vibe.
Yeah.
I love it.
It says established 2015, Louisiana. Got a little gator
Little gator.
on there.
Hell
little
yeah.
Gator. And it says Lafayette Comedy, and there's the mic logos right there.
Oh, that's good.
So so change it up a little bit.
Shield.
Yeah, these finally came in. So how you been, Tyler, buddy?
Pretty good,
Pal?
man. It's been a hot minute since we talked.
Dude,
we've both been doing a lot of comedy.
We've been some road dogs.
Yes, a little bit of it together.
Yeah.
So I've done, since we've last talked, I've ran 40 minutes 4 times.
Jesus.
Yeah. Ain't that incredible?
That's
one of them, I tried to run 40 and didn't quite get there, but I'm still counting it as an attempt. Okay. I think I did like in the mid-30s, and that was at Luna for Jacob's show.
That's kind of like how I used to say I dated Kathy Ireland. I never dated her, but I ran attempts at it.
I don't know who that is, but
she was a supermodel.
She's
from
out
like
of your
90s.
league. Okay.
I just kissed the poster.
All
yeah,
right.
she's hot. Substitute her with any hot woman today who's famous.
Yeah, if you're a Gen Xer and you have any crushes from your history, call in.
Use a rotary phone. All right.
Yeah, so I was scheduled to do 30 minutes at Luna in Lake Charles. Have you done that yet?
I am actually doing that. Hang on, I wrote it down. July 18th.
It's good. It's going to be hot, but it's good.
It's going to be a hot one. All right.
I feel like we either sold out or came close to selling out. It was outside, but it was incredible. I was scheduled to do 30 right before I go up. Jacob looks at me and says, "I dare you to do 40."
Whatever, Jacob.
I was like, yeah, bro, okay. Well, I'm just going to go riff for a while then because I only got 30 minutes of jokes. No, it was good. I got up there. I took my time. It was my first time doing 30 in probably a couple months at that point, but I've had some new jokes. I've solidified some parts of my act. I was really happy to see how it all fit together. And it was great.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, I had a couple more chances to do that. We went to Pensacola.
Yeah.
Club 27. Shout out to those guys.
Yep.
Treated us right. Olivia Cersei. I forgot homeboy's name.
The other guy, homeboy.
Yeah, he was cool.
Yeah. No, it was good, dude. Yeah.
I think I did 32, 33 that night. And it was kind of a similar set. I had cut some chunks out that I would have gotten me to that 40 that I just chose not to do.
Yeah.
But that was a great time. It was a beautiful room.
For those comics watching that don't know our area, we don't get to run long time like that. Most of our shows are showcases or featuring for someone. So usually a max you're doing is like 20 so
I know, and that's when you've earned it. I mean, I didn't start getting 20-minute spots till like year 5, year 6, But Club 27, Pensacola, shout out to those guys. The comics took care of us. We went out to eat after.
Ooh, yeah.
Had a good hang. That was the bean soup, right?
The bean soup night. Yeah. Something Irish pubs.
Yeah. O'Hallahan's or something. McKinley's, whatever it was.
McDonald's.
They had $3 million $1 bills stapled to the building.
Yeah, that was done. I had the Reuben egg rolls, which hurt me, but was worth it. Ooh. And the bean soup. 18 cents bean soup, I think.
Can't beat that.
Can't beat that, man.
Tradition, baby.
Yeah, we had a good time on that one.
After that, me and baby boy John Merrifield took a trip up to Shreveport. I got reached out to by Christopher Luker. He runs don't take this serious comedy out there in Shreveport, and honestly doing big thing, kind of revitalizing the scene out there.
Yeah.
We did the East Bank Theater, which is a community theater very similar to where me and John have our shows at Cités de Art, but this is like an old jailhouse. Because the whole, like the green room area behind the scenes is just jail cell after jail cell.
What?
Yeah, but it's all like, this is a little chill room with some books and some tables, and like, but you could see the bars, and it was really cool.
Chris D'Elia headlining? He's not in jail, but all right, sorry.
No, but it could be. Grooming.
Pull him up.
Absolutely fantastic. I think I did close to 40 that night. Great production. Absolutely stellar crew there. The lights went out. There was some interesting things that happened with the lights
he
during
told me
my
that.
set.
He messaged me because we're working on some shows and stuff. And but yeah, he's like, yeah, and the lights went out on Tyler.
Dude, it was funny though. Like
fun.
I was very like the light guy. He could not have been more embarrassed. I mean, this guy must have apologized to me 40 times. He literally was like, I was in a groove, and this is from his perspective what he told me. He goes, okay, I'm good. I can step away now. He felt like everything was good, so he stepped away to go smoke. And like almost as soon as he stepped away, the lights started messing up. And and it was a problem until he came back to figure out what was wrong with them.
Don't smoke, kids.
It was funny because there was like, all the lights went out except for the backlights, so you just couldn't see me.
You were just a weird shadow.
So I was like riffing on the fact that nobody could see me. I was still kind of telling jokes and people were laughing, so I didn't stop. Then at some point, all the audience lights came on, but the stage lights were still off. So I was like, this is the opposite of what you're supposed to be doing, guys.
Everybody on stage. I'm doing it.
It was real funny, but everything kind of came back together. We made the best of it.
How many people y'all had there?
Over 100.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, we sold out.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it was sold out. My first time selling out as a headliner.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a good feeling, incredible.
Yeah,
I shared the picture immediately. Every time I see somebody being like, "Oh, we sold this bitch out," I'm like,
yeah.
Well, maybe one day I'll do it, and I did. Also, John had an incredible set. When we were backstage, the other comics were laughing at John, and one of them looked at me and was like, "I hope you're as funny as him."
Jesus.
And I was like, "I brought him."
Yeah.
A couple weeks after that, I did a weekend with our good buddy from the North Shore, the Neanderthal himself, Joshua Aaron Watts. Me and Josh went to Houston. We stayed with our good buddy Joshua Jordan. Mm-hmm. We did 3 shows at the Secret Group, 8, 10, 12. The midnight show was like an interesting takeover variation. I think you were kind of saw the next night too because we crossed paths, but I'm sure you'll get into that. Where we did like short sets, but then were interviewed by 2 guides afterwards. So just completely crushed. Both me and Josh, every single set was better than the last. We had an absolute great time. We stayed at Secret Group for like 8 hours that day.
Goodness gracious.
It was hella fun. Then the next day we got up and we drove to Tyler, Texas, where I was headlining Rose City Comedy Club.
Looked great, by the way.
Dude, it's such a cool venue.
Nice.
I highly suggest you go. I'm going to hook you up with those people.
Cool.
You're going to bring one of our buddies to open for you. You're going to have a grand old time.
Grand.
A beautiful room. Great people. Absolute great owner. His name's Christopher. He's a producer. And it's so refreshing to run into producers who love comedy and aren't comics and really just kind of know their place in the industry. You know what I mean? Because like he's not
No, you can't do 5.
He's not trying to be a comedian. He's not trying to he literally says I'm here to nurture the other comedians, right? And Christopher is absolutely great dude. Jason McAdams was our host, and he's the one that actually brought me out there. Absolutely nothing but great things to say about those dudes in the venue. I did 45 minutes.
Damn.
And it felt so good. I took my time. The same jokes that only got me to like 35 minutes in some of these other shows, the same jokes, maybe plus 1 or 2 1-minute stuff got me to 45, which means I was in the moment. I was taking my time. I was riffing with the crowd, commenting on the room. It was absolutely incredible.
I had something the other night. I had to do 5 at a venue, and I timed it out beforehand, just in my head, sitting there, and I'll talk about it. But when I actually did it on stage, I was like, okay, this bit's gonna finish at this point, and I was 30 seconds ahead of time. So in the whole time in my head, I'm like, can I stretch out the last part, the second joke, in it? But it's so weird when it goes the opposite way. You're like, I've got this, and you're like, oh, hey.
Yeah, now what? It's very interesting being a comedian. As your experience level grows and you get more comfortable on stage, you find yourself in these moments where you're able to go through your act and also have internal conversations with yourself about how things are going.
Whole time.
What you should be doing.
Whole time.
You know, how am I going to close? What's next? How am I going to wrap up? It's pretty crazy that we're able to do that.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, did I just say that? What did I say?
Right.
Gotta remember that.
Yeah.
What about this?
Yeah.
Why is this person looking at me? You know, and it's
or when someone in the crowd takes you out of the joke and then you have to find your way back in it.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff is fun, but you can only do that when you're afforded the time to do it.
Yeah.
Right? But it's good, man. I feel really good. I feel like I am at my absolute best right now.
Yeah,
I've got new stuff that's coming together in a big way. My act is feeling good, getting tighter. I'm learning. I found out one joke that absolutely has to go. It just died a horrible death 2 times.
Which one?
The dentist joke. I don't even do it enough for you to know what I'm talking about. I've never done it on this stage. I'll tell you that much. Because I've never felt like it was ready.
Yeah.
But I was in these big set situations, I'm kind of like, I don't mind taking a pause to be like, hey guys, I'm going to work on some new stuff here.
Yeah, to address it.
And I have like a little line where I'm like, if this feels like it's unfinished.
It is.
It is. You know? So I was able to work on some stuff I wasn't happy with yet. And I still remain unhappy with that. But but overall, man, I could not feel better about comedy right now.
Yeah.
What about you, man?
Oh, man. Well, so we did Pensacola, and then the next week, actually came back here. We had You Look Like, which was fun. Great.
Oh, this is
thing.
amazing. I was here laughing the whole time.
Brock White Lions champion.
Shout out.
And then the next week we had Sam Talent on a Thursday. What a bonkers show.
Yep.
Like, it was so good, him and Nathan. And then I went not feature, I just went do a set on and the next night in New Orleans at Sports Drink. Let me tell you this, if you don't know Sports Drink in New Orleans, know it. The guy, Andrew, who's the owner, him and his brother, who are like, they're both like 6'4", 6'5".
Jeez.
He played in the HBO Lakers series.
Okay.
He played one of the guys on the Celtics.
He's that big.
He's that big.
He could play a basketball player on TV.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is really cool. The
That's a
nicest dude
credit.
in the world. Yeah, I'll use it. He's not a comic. I think he just runs the shows over there. Nicest dude, been
He
talking
books it?
forever. Yeah. He owns it and books it. It's a coffee spot during the day. It's the one, the whole back wall is just those big 5-gallon orange Gatorade things.
I humbly request to be hooked up with that guy.
Yes, we will.
Okay.
So went over there, 2 shows. So it was Marcus Bond hosting, then me, then Polk, and then Nathan Lund, and then Sam.
A little Marcus Bond reunion from our from our incident.
Don't ask. Anyway, we had a good time.
They heard it. It was on last
that's
episode.
true.
We
Damn
talked
it, yeah.
about it.
Allegedly. There's no footage. No, I had a amazing 7 p.m. set. It was so good. That crowd was so hot. 9 o'clock show.
So that was Sam, 2 shows. Do they always do 2 shows?
They do 2 shows on a Friday and 2 shows on a Saturday.
Every
when they
weekend.
bring someone in. Yeah.
Wow.
So second show was good, but it got rolling like after Polk. And during Polk's set on the second show, he did a joke, didn't do well, and he goes, boy, I thought y'all hated Jason. But
I keep seeing some videos that Polk's releasing.
Yeah.
They're very funny.
So no, that was great. Such a cool place. And then the next night I had to come back here. We had Stone versus Drunk versus Sober over here, which was a barn burner, but it's a weird crowd, but it was good. Really good.
Was I here for that? What was the outcome of that?
Oh man, hang on.
Dude.
It was Delaney.
Oh, that's I heard.
And the other guy, Ken Jones. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Ken Jones from Philly.
Yeah, so they took that. And then next week, had old Emo Phillips here at ACA, Acadiana Center for the Arts, on the Thursday. It was me, Josh Watts, and Emo. Emo had a guy who's just a big fan who just started comedy like maybe a year or 2 ago. He drove in from Arkansas to do a 7-minute spot. Right. And he
was good?
Yeah, he was good. He had fun.
Little Rock area, maybe?
Around, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So really good, and had a good hang. And then I was leaving. I was just trying to get home because I left for New York the next morning. Get home, get into bed about 11:30. About a little after 12, I happen to roll over as my phone lights up, and it's a text from Delta saying, your flight has been delayed 3.5 hours.
Is that going to make you late
That
for
would have
something?
put me it would have screwed everything up. I would have missed all 3 sets that I had to do that Friday in New York.
Holy shit.
So, go to my computer, throw my cats off my lap, leave me alone. Get on
out of
there.
here, pussy.
Finally, I'm just like, agent, get on the chat with someone, you know. Hour and a half later, got everything finalized. It was flying out with Delta. They ended up buying me a flight on American Airlines. I was getting there around the same time, but my flight left almost 2 hours earlier. And I didn't have a boarding pass, so I had to get there early for a boarding pass. So I decided not to sleep. I took a shower.
Oh, man.
Went to Mel's, got me some eggs. I get to the airport.
What, 3 o'clock?
Yeah.
Jesus.
TSA wasn't there. No one from the airlines was there.
You
Waited.
just brought your gun in and everything.
Yeah, just all the cocaine I had. That poor lady who got arrested when I put it in her purse. No, so finally got my boarding pass, trying to stay awake, get on there. First flight, flying me to Dallas, Fort Worth. Took a little cat nap, like a 2 or 3 hour layover. Boom, get on the next plane. I also treated myself. I bought Comfort Plus, so I'd have more leg room. Where I lost that on both flights because
You lost the Comfort
because
Plus, yeah.
they put me on American Airlines, so they're like, "You write in when the trip's finished, get a refund." Okay, so boom, I get to New York. Isaac Cozell from New Orleans, me and him were going. He made it there like 2 hours early, so he couldn't check in the hotel since it's under my name. So I ended up. I was like, I don't want to take public transportation from JFK. I got me a cab, $100. That was great. I don't care. It's like, let me get to the hotel. Get to the hotel, check in. I took like a 20-minute cat nap, and then we started. We did a Don't Tell show in Manhattan.
That's how y'all kicked off the
It's
trip?
a little Don't Tell show. This place called Asylum.
And look,
Wonderful place.
I'm going to go out on a limb. If you're listening to this and you don't know about Don't Tell, the large majority of shows are bangers. I've
It's New
only
York.
ever heard of like 1 or 2 duds ever across the country.
Well, this one was not. So we had a good time. Dave Ross, our buddy Dave
Awesome.
Ross was on the show. And then we did another show, and then we ended up in Brooklyn for the 3rd show. Dave Ross was on the show again.
Dang.
So it was just like the tour of Dave Ross because he was about to do his he was recording his new special that weekend.
Working it out.
So did that Saturday, had a spot at New York Comedy Club, East Village. Went swimmingly, got the video, very happy. And then we went to Astoria, which is like northern Brooklyn area where a bunch of comics live. Beautiful place. We did this little French place called like Toodles in French. And it's a show called Only Friends. Free show, phenomenal.
Really?
Great, wonderful people who run that. Then I think we went out to... I think that was Dave Ross's taping that night. So we ended up going from Astoria all the way to Williamsburg to go watch Dave Ross's special. We thought we'd get there to end. They were delayed because of light issues, or like an hour and 45 minutes. So we got there. He was really just kind of getting it kicked off. Ran a bunch of comics like Rojo Perez, Tone Bell, Graham K was there.
Rojo and Thon, you talk about them about coming down?
Yeah, we were already
Let's do it,
cranking that wheel.
man. I'm looking forward to that.
Graham K was there, who we were having when I got back, and he looks at me. He's like, and I was like, "Hey," and he's like, "What are you doing here?" I was like, "I'll just come and have a beer."
Big fan of Lafayette comedy, that
yeah,
guy.
ran into other comics and everything. Closed down the cellar one night with Sean Patton. Me and Isaac went eat, and then we went. Sean Patton, we had drinks, and then we. Anyway, Sunday we go to a Yankees game, which was phenomenal.
No, I didn't know
Had
you
a
did
blast.
that.
I don't. This is not sports, Jason. But I'll go see any sporting event live.
Especially baseball games are fun live.
Love it.
Yeah.
I've been to, like, when I was a kid, I went to a few Astros games, and then, like, maybe 10, 15 years ago, went to a couple Astro games. So, bought tickets. We took the subway there. It was crazy because the whole subway was, like, going there in the Bronx. Everyone's going to see
Everyone's
the
going to a
Yankees.
Yankees game.
Got
What's
out.
the
I was
stadium
like,
like?
I was like, man, I forgot to buy sunglasses because, open stadium. So, guy was selling some Ray-Bans. I think they said Rain Mans because I got them for $10. So I bought me some
They're
Rain
not
Mans.
Ray-Bans.
Some Rain Mans.
They're Ban Rays.
Definitely bootlegs.
Bay Rans.
Raymond Bands.
Yeah.
Raymond Band.
Everybody loves Ray-Bans.
Yeah. Clip it. Bought me a real Yankees cap from the stadium. Didn't buy a bootleg one for $10. Got me a nice one. And then we had the time of our life. We baked for about 20, 30 minutes in the hard sun. Like sun. Sunday.
I don't know why I thought you. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, we could have because everything's legal there. That
kind of baked. I meant like cooking. Baked.
Had a great time. Ate a hot dog at the ballpark.
Oh yeah.
We got on the subway back, which was great. Got back, chilled, took a shower, and then we had a 8 p.m. Grizzlies pair spot that night.
I've heard good things about that
which is right
place.
down from the cellar. I've heard opposite. People were just like, and it was kind of, I don't know. You remember Crashing with Pete Holmes? It's like, we had the best time.
My friend Abby was
Yes, shout out to Abby.
Was she there by any chance?
No, she wasn't, but she.
But
got
I think
us those
she's
kids.
one of the. She got helped. Oh, nice.
Yeah, she put us on that show, which was great. Me and Isaac both set up our phones and recorded. During Isaac's set, I had a really good set. I was super happy with everything. During Isaac's set, he was doing his joke about Dave and Buster's and the kids, and they mess up everything.
Fuck them
the
kids.
waitress dropped a whole tray of glasses, and he goes, "You see, it's probably one of those fuckers right there." It was great.
Nice.
You got to watch that reel. We did that, and then we ended up at. I think that's the night we went eat at the Comedy Cellar, and then met up with Patton. Then we ended up. Me, Pat, and a few other there was comics from Austin and everything. We ended up at a bar next door to the cellar. Then we went to the Grizzly Pear, had more drinks. Then it was a good night.
New York.
Monday, did a spot at a little place where Batman would do comedy, a certain comedy club. And then I had a 10 o'clock.
Oh, Gotham.
Okay, I
was like an alleyway.
I'm not supposed to say it,
his
but anyway.
parents' funeral. I didn't know where this was going.
And then I had a 10 o'clock spot at the stand at night. So I showed up, saw a bunch of comics I knew. They're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm on the show." So I was. I got there late because of the other spot, but I was last before the host because he was doing Legions of Skanks. So he came up, so I had to bring up the host of the show, and he closed it out, which was great. Isaac was across town doing another spot, so I ended up going. We ended up meeting up at somewhere else, hanging out, and then I was at the went to the Cellar that night to the 11:30 show. Got to see Bonkers. So I got to Attell close it out.
Wow.
Brought up Ian Fidance. They did a thing together. Ian did a spot. Caitlin Palufo.
Wow.
You got to look at Caitlin Palufo. She is a beast.
She's ripped, right?
Ripped.
I follow her on Instagram. She is a monster.
She is a beautiful, scary, ripped woman.
Yeah.
One of the funniest comics I've ever had.
So, in my Mount Rushmore of active comics right now.
She's going to be back. So,
hell yeah.
So got to see her at the earlier show. I had to follow, and I just forgot his name, but he was on there. I met up with Jake Costin, who lives in New York now.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know he moved out there.
Yeah, and so whoever, I forget his name, whoever I was after. Daniel Simonson, sorry. I was thinking of someone else. Daniel Simonson. I had to follow him at the earlier club. Then he went up and did a spot at the Cellar, and Jake went, "You have to follow that?" I'm like,
dang.
Yeah, ripped it up. So many great comics. And then, after that, ended up walking back to the hotel. I did a lot of walking. Tuesday we ended up doing, we had spots at the stand, on Cypher Sound's show in Liam Dalton's called Cocoa Cream Comedy. Huge show at the stand. And then after that, we actually, we had it like at the same time, Colin Tyrell and Lil Sasquatch's show called Tuesday Night Lights at the Downtown Social.
Y'all were on that?
We were on both of those.
That's awesome.
However, I had to bow out because I had to do Robert Kelly's You Know What Dude podcast.
No.
So everyone was really cool. They're like, "Look,
what a
you
tough
go do
decision
that.
to
I know."
make.
They're like, so it was me,
Little Sasquatch. You know what, dude?
dude. I mean, both those shows. It would have been
know.
great. And it was killer lineups. I mean, and Joe List was on that show.
Jesus.
So I had to. I know. Anyway,
Wait,
but
why? What did you know that was going to happen potentially?
once I had those spots first, and then they confirmed what time.
You didn't know what
dude
time
was.
Bobby was going to want you.
So I had to
Gotcha.
bow out, send Isaac on his way. So I went watch Robert Kelly, and do a spot at the Fat Black.
Yeah, that's his place, right?
And then walked over to
he
the.
loves that.
Yeah,
That's like
walked
where
over
he
to the
works.
cellar and we record above the original cellar. It was the first. They just redid the brand new studio, all
looks
brand new
awesome.
cameras. So we
First episode recorded in the new studio.
Yes. So got to do that. And me and Jeffrey Asmus, who is one of my
so
favorites.
funny.
So good. Like such a good time. And then I think I had so after that I ended up going back to the stand, meet up with Isaac and Jonathan O'Connell and some other comics, and then we just had a good night and just walked back. Wednesday we had one show, Young Ethel, Zach Sims, who's been here in Park Slope, had a wonderful show, and we just kind of ended the night. We weren't somewhere else, but we just had well, I ended up going that last night. Isaac decided he was going to the airport because he had to fly out crazy early. So I was like, well, I'm going to another show. So I go to go see back to where Dave Ross recorded his special. End up meeting all these other comics, hanging out, Tom Takar, all these other, just watching people's sets. Sean Patton hung out with them for the night. And then I flew back on Thursday without a hitch.
Almost a whole week.
And Daddy, on the flight back from Atlanta, got that first class.
Oh, first class.
First class.
How'd that happen? Upgrade?
And then there was a dude next to me who was a big dude. The row in front of us, because you got a nice space in between. The row in front of us was empty. He's like, can I move right there? She said, yeah. I had 2 seats to myself.
Jesus.
I had a whiskey. I had a wine. I had little crackers.
How did you get first class? That's what I want to know.
A little upgrade. That's it.
Just happened.
So I'm never flying first class. I'm never flying anything other than first class again, which means I'm never flying. So
I dream of that. Like when I walk through first class, I'm like, man, this must be nice.
They treat you well.
I bet.
Yeah. I had enough room to lean back my chair, take off my shoes. I was like, it's too roomy in here. Anyway, so got back on that Thursday, and I was exhausted. And then Friday we had old Graham K here. What a wonderful show. That dude is amazing. We had a good hang, took him to cafe after. Nice. And then next day, me and him left for Houston. He was headlining 2 shows at the Riot, so I ended up hosting both of those. He had a friend from LA in who did a spot.
And that's the night after I was in Houston.
Night
so
after
we
that.
crossed, yeah.
So I hosted those 2, then I jumped on the Late Show, had a good time. Went with Joshua Jordan, went watch him at the Secret Group. I didn't jump on the show. I was like, I'm good. And then
quit while you're ahead.
Yeah. And then Sunday, me and Joshua Jordan, we went to Austin. Took that dude, signed up for the Mothership open mic. He got on his first try. Boom.
How many people signed up for that, if you had to guess?
Oh, 200 plus. So he was number 12 out of 16.
Jesus
got on there.
Christ.
And then I was, after the open mic, the part of the cruise show, did 5 minutes. Felt amazing. Rich Voss was there headlining because he headlined the whole weekend in the Fat Man. So went and hang out in the green room with him, watched his set, a couple other comics. After that, me and took Josh to the creek. We went and watched some stuff. Next night, I had a spot on Clocked Out Monday night at the creek, and then came back Tuesday. Man, we ate well. Took him to that ATX Cochina. We went to Terry Black's.
Oh, dog.
Yeah. And
Man.
now we are here.
We're here. Wow, what a crazy month it's been.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind of shows and everything else and reflection and everything else, and kind of Stella got her groove back. I'm Stella.
How
I'm
you
also
feeling?
Daddy.
Good?
I'm feeling better. Yeah.
Cool.
I know it's the next step. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, hey, we all go through those little burnout phases, and
It's burnout, but it's also like, the grass. They always say the grass is not greener, but I want to lay in that grass.
Yeah.
That's some good grass over there.
it is.
Real figuratively, metaphorically.
It's inside comedy, right?
Yeah. But yeah, so
Inside
it's
landscaping talk.
Yeah, landscaping. If you're got to hit me up. Yeah, so it's kind of like reconsidering some things, but we're here. We're dying down here. Let's get in.
Still.
I guess we should get into the interview.
Yeah, absolutely, because we got one of those, and it is a banger.
Yeah, it was
I had
recorded
so much
in
fun.
1997. It's so long ago.
I vaguely remember the interview.
Let's see. I'm gonna pull up that date. I want to say it was.
It had to be in May.
May.
Yeah, May 24th, maybe.
Nope.
No, May 4th.
May 4th.
It was.
Jesus. All right.
Star Wars Day. That's how I knew that.
Okay. Call in if you're a nerd. May 4th, we had Ariel Elias here. What a banger of a show. So good. We had a great time. Let's
Run
get
the
in.
interview.
Thanks to our sponsor, Ounce of Hope Aquaponic Cannabis Company. Ounce of Hope provides high-quality CBD and Delta-8 through an advanced aquaponic system for the utmost in quality products. Check them out at ounceofhope.com.
Yep. How are my levels, Daddy? Whoa, my voice went weird there on the D for some reason. Always weird on the D, man.
Check 1, 2.
I'm already disturbed by what's going to happen and by your dynamic, but I think it's beautiful that you have that kind of love for one another.
Welcome to the newer movement.
Whoa.
Sorry.
This time with consent.
Yeah. I guess we should start, but
that
I'm leaving all that in. We're going to fight someone tomorrow, so that's good.
I ain't worried about them.
All right. You starting it, Tyler? or
Yeah,
me?
welcome to We're Dying Down Here again.
Again.
We're dying down here again.
We're
We've got
still
the
not
wonderful Ariel Elias.
Hello.
Crowd
Yes.
standing up. All right.
Ah, awesome,
Yeah.
awesome.
So welcome, Ariel. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for the hotel room. Jason.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. I just like to. You got a cookie?
I got 2.
What?
I only ate one. I'm going to eat the other one after
Whoa.
the show as a treat. If I do well enough, if I earn it, or I'm going to eat it because I'm sad because I didn't do well
Either
enough.
way,
Either
so
way,
it's getting cookies.
I get
yeah.
a cookie. It's
3
win-win.
cookies tonight. Yeah, we had Mark Norman Tuesday, and we ended up like getting 2 hotel rooms because I didn't know if someone was gonna come with him, but it was his wife, so they shared one. And then Daddy got a little. I'm Daddy in this scenario. Daddy got a little drunk, and the front door girl, she's like, you take the other room?" I was like, "Yeah." She goes, "Okay." She goes, "Don't go yet. I'm gonna fix it up for you." So I walked in there. The fridge was with water, like multiple waters. There was a Snickers, a bag of Skittles, a bag of chips, and 3 motherfucking cookies.
A snack pyramid.
Wow.
Yeah. I ate the Snickers and passed out.
You are daddy.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, Daddy brought the rest home for his kids. All right.
I don't even mind it. It doesn't even make me feel any
I
type
know.
of way.
I'm sad. All right. So this took a weird turn. Ariel, you were one of the first people I met doing comedy.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you remember where we met?
It may have been when I was doing that first bar, which was like Scotty's, and it was Poets, Sidebar, then Poets.
I remember
That was
Sidebar.
next to the Bulldog.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we would hire a certain comedy group out of New Orleans. We won't say the names, and we brought that hour down here, and it was like a monthly Wednesday. And then I think you were one of the hosts that came down, and I think that's how I met you, and probably New Orleans too, but right around those times.
I always loved coming to Lafayette. It was because it's a surprising town. Like you're like, oh, we're like going in the middle of Louisiana, and then you're like, no, it's a college town. People here are smart. They're fun. And then I almost died on the drive back many times because what I forgot when I got here and I was driving from New Orleans to Baton Rouge and then Baton Rouge to here is it's just you're on the highway. It's not far, but it's straight.
Yeah.
It never bends. So you're like, okay, I have 5 coffees and I'm awake, but you still fall asleep driving.
It's mostly water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a bridge.
Deer
A,
on the
lo-
side.
a lot of intrusive thoughts on that drive because you're like, oh, I could just,
My intrusive thoughts are I could go fishing right here.
that's cute. That's sweet.
I could stop at this gas station and eat all their fried food. That's
Oh,
mine.
same.
Is there still the Tiger gas station? That Tiger?
Well,
Does that?
they got it's still there, still called the Tiger. They remodeled it. It's beautiful. They got rid of the Tiger.
Good.
He died. They
Aw.
replaced it with the next. When you think of ferocious jungle animals, what do you think of besides a tiger?
A lion?
Close. They got a camel. So- but they kept the name the Tiger gas station, and then the camel's now gone because I think it was violently biting people. Tiger
good.
Zero
I didn't
bites.
know
That was one of the saddest rest stops.
Yeah, tiger
and I've
in a
been,
cage.
and that's something.
You're in Grotet, and you're a tiger. Like
Gross.
gross tet. The tets are gross. They have 6 of them, I think.
Camels or
Either one, or tigers, either one. Yeah, no, it was pretty bad. And I went to the gas station once before they redid it, and it was just scuzzy. Like if you want lottery
Yeah.
tickets and Hep C. That's where to go, you know.
I remember the first time driving down there, and I think it was Andrew Polk was like, "Do you want to stop and see the tiger?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course I want to see a tiger." And we pulled over, and there were 3 of us in the car. I don't remember who the third person was, but I remember we saw the tiger. We stared at him for a little bit. He was like pacing back and forth, and we all got in the car so sad.
Yeah.
We were all just like, "Well, that was a mistake. I don't think we should ever see that again." So I'm glad he died.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he passed on.
Yeah.
He's in a better place.
Not gross.
Literally anywhere else.
No
Kitty
telling about the
heaven.
camel either. He'll be here later. He's featuring. So no, yeah, you were one of the first people I ever met and doing comedy. You were always so nice. You and Molly Rubin were just great. And remember seeing y'all. Y'all always so good. And then I think when did you move to New York?
2014.
Oh wow,
That's when we started. Yeah, so we met you and then you left.
Yeah, we have that effect on people. This is the tiger.
It was the tiger.
No, it's because I knew that Louisiana comedy was in good hands, so I could go.
Lafayette. Say that again. Lafayette comedy.
Lafayette comedy.
There we go.
Lafayette comedy.
That's so sick. And so you've been in New York since, and how are things?
Now they're good. Now things are good. When I first moved to New York, it was really hard and sad and difficult and a real reality check. And I'm glad that I moved there when I was 24, because I think if I had done it later or now, I don't know how people move there in their 30s, because it's exhausting to be there. And it is so demoralizing in a way that I think you can only get through that in your 20s, because everything is demoralizing and everybody hates you
I've
in your 20s.
never heard it put like that, but it makes perfect sense.
Yeah?
It really does, because I'm your age, so like what you're saying makes sense to me, because I'm your age now, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds exhausting.
Yeah, I was working 2-day jobs. I was working 7 days a week. I had a dog. I would go to mics and shows. And
Was that the same dog from New Orleans?
Yeah.
Yeah, the white one, whitish.
Yeah.
Kinda? Yeah, he was sweet.
she was great.
Or
She
sorry.
died in 2021. And she is up in heaven playing with the tiger and the camel.
So what part of New York did you move to?
Man, it was so weird. Okay, my first year.
All right, here we go. Now we're cooking, baby.
My first year in New York, I moved in with some distant family members who I don't think I had ever really met before, but they had a place in Queens. They let me stay in their basement for free, which was so nice of them, but they were very weird. We had a really bizarre dynamic. Things did not go great, and where they lived was in the middle of nowhere, Queens. So it wasn't off the subway. I would have to take 2 buses to get to anywhere, which also the buses stopped running around like 1 a.m. And I would be, I was like a dumb 24-year-old, so I would be out. I would go to the Creek in the Cave mic at 11 p.m. I would do the open mic, get really drunk, miss the bus home, take the subway as far as I could, and then walk like 45 minutes home, drunk. I'd have to pee like on the side of the road. Like it was a bad year. I really messed up.
Or a good year.
No, objectively bad. And then my second year, I was like, I got to get out of here. So I moved into a 2-bedroom apartment with 3 male comics in Bushwick.
Oh, let's name them.
It was, I would love to. No, it was, I mean, there was a basement that we took a little divider and split it into two rooms. And then there were 2 bedrooms upstairs. So I had a bedroom upstairs. Owen Straw had the other one. And then the basement was Jake Head and Rob Hayes.
Oh, nice.
And Rob was always on the road, so we
Yeah.
never saw him.
We just had Rob here.
I love Rob.
Yeah,
and
so
I love
good.
Jake. And Owen's great. But I lived with them for a year in Bushwick, and I did all the Bushwick I switched my nose stud to a nose ring,
Oh,
like
nice.
all the Bushwick
Bad girl.
things. And then a year after that, I moved in with my then boyfriend, now husband, in Astoria in
Nice.
Queens.
And he was a comic too?
He was a comic. He doesn't do stand-up anymore, but he still writes and is directing Anthony DeVito's one-man show.
Oh, yeah. He's so good.
So he's like of the world. He knows.
What
gets
broke
it.
him from being a comic?
He kind of had one foot out the door anyway, but COVID was the real I think my husband is a really, really good joke writer, and he's really good at pulling questions out of other people. But I think he always felt like he didn't have any of his own stories to tell.
Yeah.
and got to a point where he was like, so what am I really doing on stage then?
Gotcha.
Which is admirable, and I think more comedians should ask themselves that.
Yeah, for sure.
Every night. Yep.
COVID actually, in this weird way, was positive for, I don't know about our scene as a whole, but me specifically, I think JP too, maybe a little bit, because we were still doing the outside show at Beer Garden, which was a pretty hot showcase. We just masked up and we had mic covers. We would use, everybody had their own mics. We did as many precautions as we could.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were doing no comedy, and we were able to at least get up once a month, you know, and have like a real show. So, you know, in some weird ways, that kind of kept me going, you know?
Yeah. What happened to you during COVID? Did you do any Zooms? Did you do any parking lot stuff? Or
I did all of that. I did some Zooms. Those were, once you accepted that they weren't stand-up, like it's a different thing.
You just,
it's like a
kind
fun
of-
work meeting.
You're like, all right, I'm just going to do a 15-minute monologue to no reactions.
Right.
And I remember seeing people who were good at them. Like I did a couple with Judah Friedlander was on some of them, and he would like roast people's apartments, like whatever he could see
So
in the
it'll
little
be-
square.
I
great.
joined one of his things, and we had just had him like right before COVID, and we hit it off, and it was great. And he saw I joined, and we just went through like 2 hurricanes down here, and he just devoted like 15 minutes to just talking to me about the hurricane, and I'm like my kids are playing in the living room. My wife's like, what are you doing? I'm like, talking to Judah Friedlander on his podcast. What else would I be doing in the kitchen, you know? And I just, it was the greatest.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I did those at first, and then once we were like, oh, it's okay to go outside. I did a lot of the stand-up New York park shows. At first, everybody was masked, and then when we were like, oh, you don't have to wear a mask outside.
Yeah.
Did that, and then parking lots, some rooftops.
I was about to ask rooftops. Yeah.
Did you get to Soul Joel's?
I did, yeah,
What's
the
that?
Dome.
It was where was it at?
It was in somewhere in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and he like what the beer garden should have been. It was this massive like take that and put it like 10 times the
Okay,
size.
wow.
It was huge. You can fit a couple.
Yeah, it was like
hundred
a
people in
huge tent that was like closed
Yeah.
on like half the sides.
there. Yeah, it was killer. Yeah, he had everyone you could think of because it was the place to go. You can sell
And
it out.
Joel, what a good egg as far as how he treated comics, because that was also a time where we all started thinking like, oh, we've been getting taken advantage of real bad. And you get to a point where you're like, I'm not willing to like risk my life now to go do a show for $5 or for zero pay.
Right.
Yeah.
And he was one of the first, that was one of the first venues I ever went where as a feature, I would walk away like actually making money
Nice.
instead of just like breaking even on travel money and stuff. So
Yeah, no, they say he's a good dude. I mean, I loved it. And then he has like a regular club, right? He has a few
Yeah.
of them. Okay, yeah.
But COVID was also like, there was this thing at the beginning when none of us were doing anything. There was this, like a lot of comics, I think some people lost their minds, but a lot of us were like, oh, it's kind of nice to have a break. This feels pretty good.
Yeah. No, I enjoyed the break. I got real close to my dog. That was
Yeah,
it was
same.
the best thing in the world.
Really healed some relationships.
Yeah, yeah. And drank a lot of stuff. So in New York, what are your home clubs? Where are you performing, mostly doing spots and all that?
My main club now is Gotham Comedy Club. For a while, it was New York Comedy Club. That was the first club that I think I got passed at, either there or Stand Up New York. But now it's now Gotham is where I'm.
How often are you there?
Maybe like 5 times a month.
Nice.
Yeah, it really just depends on how much I'm on the road.
Yeah.
But it's like, everybody who works there still wears suits. Like they take it very seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just nice.
It's a cool room. I was there in November, and I got to see a couple comics I've had here, and it was like, oh, it's a different beast than going to the Cellar or the Stand, or
Yeah.
anything. And the New York Comedy Club. And everything.
No, I think Gotham feels like a theater almost because it's so big. And in New York, to have a big space
Yeah.
is
'cause all the
pretty
spaces
hard
are
to come
small,
by.
right?
Yeah.
I've never been, but my understanding is like the Cellar's incredibly just tiny. And tight.
Super tiny. Also, the Cellar is like a lot of like cool audience. It's like people who live in the Village or who like want to come to a place where they want to be seen. Gotham is an interesting mix of tourists, people who live in New York, and like really high class sex workers.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I will buy tickets again when I go back. Hey, how's it going? I'm bringing business cards. Hey, how's it going?
Daddy's looking for a mommy.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I just got chills on that one. All right.
Well,
Well, that's the show, guys.
bring her out.
So you've been there, and then we don't have to go deep into it, but we'll hint on it.
Let's get so deep, Jason.
We're going deep.
Daddy,
here,
let's
baby.
get deep.
No, boy. Wait, hang on. Can you do that? I need a new
Cut it.
I need a new ringtone.
Cut it out.
Dad, why's your phone getting all weird? Just comedy. So you had this little pop on social media and everywhere else, and real TV and everything else. The beer can incident, which you handled like a pro.
Thanks.
My first thought was, you're going to get something from drinking after those people. But...
I think it was unopened.
Oh, okay.
That's my theory. Well, maybe not, but also like what?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm vaccinated and I already have herpes, so it's like, what else are you gonna? What are you really gonna give me?
My first thought was, man, you're gonna be famous.
Yeah. and so it kind of it gave you a nice pop.
Yeah.
How's it been since then? Like,
It's been pretty cool.
have you had anyone else do anything to you since then?
No, not like that. There were a few weeks ago, I was on stage at a club in Times Square, and there was a guy who, he was just like, I don't know if he was drunk or crazy or what, but he walked in, sat down in the front row, and then got on stage.
Oh.
But that was a club with great security.
Yeah.
Not great, because if
got
it
on
was
stage,
great,
yeah.
he wouldn't have come in the first
We're
place.
like, let's see what he does.
But there was a tall, large man who immediately, like, when he saw this guy get on stage, like, came on stage as well and stood in between us. So that was fine.
Was he doing it as a response to a joke? Or
No. He was just like genuinely a crazy person who sat in the front row and was like, "Will anybody have sex with me?"
Whoa.
And then got on.
Like, you should go to Gotham.
Yeah, it was like he couldn't afford those ladies. And then he was like wearing sweatpants, where it's like, you didn't put any effort into your presentation here. And then got on stage and kind of like tried to say the same thing. It's so funny it's like, what if somebody had been like, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
This is enough for me. I'll have sex with you.
It never happens, trust me.
That's really the only other thing. It's pretty rare that people ever do more than talk.
Right. I was thinking that. I was like, how common could this possibly be?
Like, even when people are at their drunkest, which is, often the case at a comedy club,
Yeah.
they still... It's like in Fight Club when they talk about how hard it is to actually get into a fight with somebody, like when they're picking... Because most people, like, they'll run their mouths, but they're not actually going to do anything.
Right.
So, no.
Don't drinks tonight. No, we haven't had any issues. We haven't had anyone come on stage or anything, except comics.
There was, at Artmosphere, there was a fight, right, between a comic and a drunk audience member. Almost a fight.
Yeah.
But that's the closest.
Yeah.
Crazy people, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But but again, they just talk.
And then start doing comedy.
Yeah. Some of them do comedy.
And move to New York and try to make it.
So we did a show last night, Baton Rouge and Manship. We're here tonight. So it's been, what, year some change since you were here last time? A little longer?
I think it's been like 3 years.
Wow. All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
All right.
Because
wow, all right.
this was one of the first places I ever tried to headline. Which,
okay.
thank you for doing that.
We killed it. It was great then. That was pre beer can.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
I remember it was really full, I think, because a lot of people there was like a whole big group of guys who thought they were buying tickets to see Mark Norman because he was there like the next
No
week.
way.
But instead they got me.
I remember that.
And then-
and they ended up buying tickets.
And then when I saw that Mark Norman was the week before me this time, I was like, maybe those guys will come back. Maybe they'll make the same mistake twice. And
Damn it, we missed out.
I know.
Yeah. So the new hour, which you're working, and you're close to doing a special, right?
Yep. Just locked in the date.
What?
I'm gonna film it August 3rd.
Nice. Where at?
Vermont Comedy Club.
Oh, okay.
Been there. You've had a good experience there. You feel good there.
Yeah, I've never headlined there. I've only featured. I've featured there for Melissa Villasenor, and
Well, that might be a benefit, right? Because
so I haven't. The people who
were
were there, one, like, didn't come to see me. They came to see Melissa, but also, I didn't burn. I did a 20-minute set.
Yep.
Nice.
So even if they come back, which they should, come.
Mark Norman's there the next week.
There'll still be some like element of surprise.
Yeah. So the new I'm calling it new hour, but the
My
hour.
only hour.
Your only hour. A hour
My
that
first
you
hour.
are associated with. No, it's great. It's so good.
Thanks.
And like we're sitting there last night, and, like next to each other, and we're like, not that we were doubting you, but it was just like it was for me to laugh audibly. I don't want to brag, but it has to be good. I don't just chuckle at regular jokes. Like
we're broken, jaded comedians. Nothing makes us laugh anymore.
A lot of them I knew, and it was like almost like the first time I heard it. I had such a good time. It was so fun.
That's so nice.
And we were talking. We're like, yeah, this hour's ready. And he's like, oh yeah, she's recording in August. I was
Yeah,
like,
that was the
"Oh."
first. One of the first things I wanted to ask her when she got off stage, because I was like, "That's an hour, man." I was like, "That's ready to go down."
Appreciate it. Yeah, I feel good about it.
And it was,
fun.
it was nice because you had like Baton Rouge has a Jewish community, and so you had some
so
Jewish
funny.
people there.
There
and I
was,
like, oh,
and by that you mean there was a table.
okay.
There was less than a minion, but there was a table, and they
Tonight we may
had
have
so
a
much
chair.
fun. And that's Elijah. Okay, that's a joke
You
for the
built
Jews.
the chair.
No, it's a Passover reference. We okay, it doesn't matter. It's I think like one of the best things, obviously like the best thing about the beer can thing was like then I got to start headlining. So now it's like for real not just these little one-offs, but really like do weekends and figure out how it's supposed to go and what the order is and what I'm trying to say. And it's been like, okay, I've gotten to work this on the road for a year now, and it feels good.
Yeah. So piecing it before, like how often were you able to do before the past year? How often were you able to run an hour or do it? Or is it like you're kind of doing as much as you can and going, all right, I'm going to kind of join it up later?
Yeah, it was like once every few months I could maybe get a headlining spot. It was usually at, middle of the nowhere Connecticut, where like if you thought Louisiana had rednecks, like Connecticut has some rednecks, and they're not fun rednecks like Louisiana ones are. They're like mad because they live in a blue state,
Oh, God.
So that's
like
who
the
was,
opposite of me.
yeah, exactly. That's who was coming to the shows. So they didn't love me. And
you got so much going for you. A lady, Jewish.
they love it when a mouthy Jewish
Yeah.
broad talks.
Look
Let
at
me
this
tell
lady
you.
Jewish comic over here.
So I like the first time I ever headlined was in New Orleans, and I remember my husband came and saw it, and he was like, okay, like you have 40 minutes of jokes, but he was like, but there's nothing there, and I was like, okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
And looking back on it now, it's like, yeah, of course, like there's no like, I think especially now we live in this age of like clips, and so you're just trying to figure out like, well, what's the best like 40-second clip I can get, or maybe like a 5-minute like YouTube video, but it's putting together an hour is such a different experience of like, it really needs to like have an arc and build and come full circle at the end. So it's been like a cool thing to figure out how to do.
Nice. How many times do you think you've run it in its entirety?
A lot.
Nice.
At this point, a lot.
Good. Yeah.
Your pop is so deserved, especially in an era where people pop and are not ready for it constantly.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
Like it's so refreshing because the exact opposite happens all the time. I feel like.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kill Tony.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think if I had known what comedy was gonna be when I started, that like what it was gonna turn into the industry, I don't know that I would have started.
Wow.
When did you start? You started in New Orleans, right?
In New Orleans in 2011.
Okay.
Like, I feel like Instagram had just come out. But like nobody was like doing clips. You know what I mean? If I had realized like, oh, you're going to have to be a full-time editor also.
Yeah, dude, it's
like
so,
learn how to.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
We struggle with that too, because we do the podcast, we do the reels.
I do.
We work 40 hours a week.
I get everything done, ready to go, and then I'm like uploading it and everything, and I'm like, here's the thing, and you do all the clips and the captions,
and then having to like post something every day, and you're like, but this isn't this isn't how any good stand-ups actually create content.
Yeah.
It's not like just get it out. It's quantity over quality.
I try to not focus on it, but also still participate. Like, I do release content, and I'm trying to be better about not being, like, just not caring about it. Like, doing it because it's the right thing to do, but also just focusing on the stand-up.
Do you guys here feel that pressure to, like, have a social media following and, like, get your number? You know, like, does that matter here?
No, I think about it because, like, we increase the things we do, but, like, I focus on the Lafayette comedy stuff. So my stuff... For me, lacks. So from my side, I'm doing it more for the promotion of the shows, the podcast, Lafayette Comedy. But then I look at people who maybe a year or two out of New York, and then you just look at like how many followers they have versus someone who's been at it 5-10 years, because you got so many people you're always in front of. So it's a totally different thing here. I don't know. I mean, it would take a lot for someone locally to like pop nationally. What that may be, I don't know. But I feel like
Are the local people who get famous social media here are not stand-ups? They're doing like skits, or they're doing like Cajun bits,
I mean,
and they get like 1 million followers. Like, so I always was like, man, I could have done that and then done stand-up.
It's reverse engineering.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't feel the pressure. I mean, you need to keep something out there. And hope people find. But like, even unless you put something that's like really big, like a roast clip or something like that, or I mean, Tyler had one that I don't know, that foot one you had, that went like a couple 100,000 or whatever.
500,000.
Yeah, I mean that's
the biggest reel I have.
Yeah, that's big, especially with someone here.
Most of my roast clips. Those are the only ones that get hundreds of thousands. I don't have anything that's hit 1 million yet, though.
And that's a partnership with the people who do the roast out of Houston, and it's
all like collaborated.
Comedy club,
It's such a tough thing. I think like a lot of comedy clubs now rely on. I mean, I understand like they need the comedian who they're booking to be able to bring people in, of course. But I think that has led to them relying less on having their own like regulars who come through and having their own built-in audience. And like now, in order to headline around the country, you have to have like a certain amount of followers. Which sucks.
And that's for here, we have our regulars. There's people who come almost to every show. Someone bought tickets tonight. I'm like, if they're not here and they're not sitting like right there where they're at, So we have the regulars because it's not such a in and out thing. We don't paper the room. So if you're coming just for this, where in New York, it's a totally different beast,
Is that hard? Does that make you want to come up with new material more often? Like,
yeah, because I always feel like I was talking about that last night. I didn't know what to do last night, and I don't, I've performed there, maybe 10 times.
Yeah, I was like,
the
Jason,
shows
they're
are
not gonna know.
I know,
but like, come on.
But in my head, but like it's always been the thing. So I don't know. It's I think if I lived in New York and I saw regulars, I'm like, I'm being stalked. Like, help.
Yeah.
Whereas here, it's like, of course they're here. They're bringing us boudin or whatever, or hot sauce, or just giving it whatever. I don't know. I don't feel the pressure. I feel the pressure from just trying to maintain Lafayette comedy out there. I think if anything, my personal stuff is lacked.
Yeah, I think the real no pressure from us is that we just have jobs that are good. I think I am happy with my job.
Yeah.
So I don't feel pressure to make it in comedy right away. I could just focus on stand up. Also, I raise a kid. I'm a single dad. So I've got a lot going on. She plays soccer. We travel constantly. So it's hard for me to be like, to see the end game. I've been doing it 10 years now. So the end game for me is just keep getting better until something happens. I want to do it full time. I think that's great. But, I focus on the stand up and continue living my life, and we'll do stuff like this.
I wish there were more people who were focused on getting better.
It's just
that's
important.
We say
and that
all
is
the
what we
freaking time.
That's what we try to preach to all the open micers and stuff too. Is this Don't all the other stuff don't matter.
Yeah.
Like when people who just start comedy are releasing clips, it's a sign of the times, bro.
Or posting whole sets.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
full-
Bruh.
like your first open mic, dude. I'm just
I know.
like, man.
I lurk sometimes.
faux pas, you
I
know?
lurk in the stand-up subreddit, and there'll always
Oh,
be somebody who's like, "Here's my second set, rate it, like open to criticism." And it's like the criticism that I would give
Yeah.
you is, "Don't post this.
Yeah,
anyway,
no.
burn it."
Yeah, we have a. I'm not gonna say it. Anyway, there's been open micers who've done it twice and had their own merch
That's hilarious. That's so funny.
with their name on it,
Yeah.
and then
That's
they
great.
just recently changed their name.
I mean, comedy is huge right now, but I blame things like Kill Tony. You know, I said that as a joke earlier, but I do think that it has had a negative impact.
Yeah, do you guys okay, so the Austin scene has changed dramatically. What is there like spillover that you guys deal with here, like from the Austin scene? Is there
No, and
I feel like
It's
we
too
talked
far
about this a
away.
little bit
Yeah.
last
Yeah.
night. Okay.
and
Where
I go
like
up,
Houston personally.
yeah.
Houston's
So
my
we
spot.
do that way. We'll go Houston and Austin. I love Austin, and I know it from before.
Yeah.
And then there's new people. There's some people that very few people kind of that I knew in this kind of cross between, but it's it's just extra drama,
Are you worried that what is happening there will happen in New Orleans, or no? Because there aren't like 17 clubs and
Oh,
Joe Rogan.
I just don't think it's a
Comedy-wise?
comedy
Yeah.
city.
Oh no. New Orleans, if
There's too much
anything,
going
got decimated during COVID. Because I don't remember how many shows were going on when you started, even when you left. But I remember, you can go like on Tuesday and do 2 shows, Beast and Lost Love Lounge, and then
and you could do the open mic at House of Blues.
yeah. And then right before COVID, it was rolling. It was so hot, and then it just fell off. And it's like all the people who were respectful of everything and not doing shows, they stayed back. And then you had like the little urchins come out the sidewalk and then start burning shows over there, and then. And so it's just never recovered. It's never recovered also for the big national shows, because when I started bringing people here, I would have to pay more, and everyone wanted to go to New Orleans.
We
and
outsell
now,
them constantly.
yeah, now it's like, unless you're doing a theater 800 plus, it would be a gamble. So I don't think you're gonna see that boom. I don't think New Orleans can handle. New Orleans don't even have a real club. you
Yeah.
know? So I don't think that's ever gonna happen for a long time.
That's both like sad and comforting. It is a weird thing, the people who started either like in 2019 right before COVID,
Yeah.
or people who started during and after, because it's this whole, like in New York, there's this thing that I think like a lot of the older comics have talked about, and by older I'm including myself in that, but like there used to be these like hangout shows. You know what I mean? There would be a show that everybody would go to, even if you weren't on it.
'Cause other
Everybody would
comics
get
are there.
drunk and hang
Sure.
out, and
Yeah.
it was a good show. There used to be Cabin in the Lower East Side and a Knitting Factory in Williamsburg, and everybody would just go, and it was fun and it was a hang. And I think since COVID, and I could be wrong about this, I could just be so out of the loop with like the local new cool scene, but it doesn't seem like there's that anymore.
No,
it doesn't feel like there's like a hangout show.
No, I agree. I mean, just the ones we do Zambon's, Dragon's Den, and sometimes you'll get some people you see, but like rarely, so a lot of people just like, no, I'm not going out tonight. And there's really no other shows that are competing at that time. So yeah, it's just even like and I haven't been there in a while, like on a weeknight, but that one the most. But I don't know. I mean, we don't have that here. There's no hang here other than the open mic, and most people don't go.
Yeah.
But over there, I mean, you got like I go there, and like the Creek, you show up at the end of the night, everyone's there coming there from all their other shows. That's still a hang. Baton Rouge has kind of been decimated since that too.
I'd rather be right where I'm at, honestly. I've never considered moving to New Orleans. I'd rather, if I go anywhere, I think it'd be Houston, because a lot more stage time and more quality stage time. I feel like we kind of have it good, but also I'm just coming from a place of such like privilege, because I'm able to comfortably take my time with this.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm happy to be here. This is a good place to come up. You have to drive for stage time. You can get up every night of the week.
Yeah.
But you have
You're
to
going
be
an
willing to
hour,
drive an hour,
2
an hour and a
hours,
half.
yeah.
But you could get up 5 to 6 nights a week. And if you don't want to be in a big city, this is a good place to be. And if you get good enough, you get to open for people like Ariel Elias, and you know, so
Or a gas station camel. Depends who's headlining tonight.
No, I think you've built a really cool thing.
Thank you.
It's a neat thing.
yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it was to what it is now to be, an anchor down here. It's great, and it's like and I just did it. Like I started booking people so our scene would grow, so we'd have more people, and also attract more comedians. Sometimes that's the bad thing.
Also, comedy fan who wants to watch good
Oh
comedy.
yeah, I was tired of driving to New Orleans. Like why not? So or
I always
Houston.
forget there are people who just like love comedy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we watch
weirdos.
every special that comes out. We're like we follow like like we're always talking about like what specials are coming out next, and I mean
yeah. We're very. I'm selective. I'm
Yeah.
selective these days, but yeah,
I watch a lot of comedy I don't like.
Oh yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just trying to. I soak it all in. I go through phases though.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll be like, okay, I've literally only watched comedy for a month. Calm down.
It
Let's go watch
replaced
Shogun.
Yeah. Or right. Still haven't watched it yet. That's on my list.
That was just the first thing I thought of that I did recently.
It replaced music for me, both me performing it and listening to it. If I listen to music in my car, it's a rarity. I have to be like, I'm just not in the mood. I don't know, for comedy.
Yeah, podcasts now.
Yeah,
It's like-
take it all. So, all right. Well, I think we went through all our good stuff.
all our good stuff. Yeah,
Let's start the
we
interview.
checked
No.
all the boxes.
So
that was the prelude.
I guess let's go back to the theme of it. Is like, why did you decide to make the move from New Orleans to New York? That's the big one.
So I had been doing stand up in New Orleans for 3 years, which now in retrospect, it's like that's no time at all.
No,
But
it felt longer to me, and I'm not even
felt
you.
so
Right.
long.
Yeah.
I think I hit a point where I was like, okay, I can do every show that exists in New Orleans. I can get up on any stage and I can do it. So I should probably leave. I think whenever you're thinking of moving for stand up, you have to ask yourself, like, what is my goal here? What do I want out of this? And for me, it was like, well, I just want to be as good at stand up as I can possibly be. So the place to do that would be New York, where there's more stage time. Not all of it good. I mean, most of it bad, but there's a lot of stage time. But more than that, it's where there are so many people who do stand up who are so much better than I am. And that's who I need to go watch and be around and figure out what my like what I'm doing here. Which is not to say that in New Orleans I felt like I was the best comedian there. It's just that I felt like I had learned everything that I could from the people who were there.
Yeah.
And it's tough. Every time I come back to New Orleans, the last time I was here, I remember like walking around and thinking like, man, I was so happy when I lived here. Like, did I make a mistake leaving? And then I went to an open mic and I was like, no, I didn't. I made the right choice.
That's pretty deep because like I had this week I had a moment where like because I co-host an open mic with someone and I just was like, I think I'm done. Like I don't know. And I was like, okay, maybe I'm just having a bad night. But thinking about it, like if I wasn't running shows and I wasn't me, what would be here? Would I even still be doing stand up? That's what made me think of that just now. I got kind of scared. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm tired of running shows. I just want to do shows. And I'm like, what would I do?
Yeah, I think about that all the time because I don't like producing. I
neither.
dabble in it a little bit, but I prefer to just be friends with the producers. And then also I'm one of the few people around that travel, so I meet a lot of people, so I bring in comics and be like, I saw this person in New Orleans, you got to check them out, so I like being that person. I hate dealing with comics and dealing with venues. I have too much responsibility in other aspects of my life.
Yeah.
I just want to get on stage and tell jokes, man.
Yeah.
I am so glad I started in New Orleans though.
Oh yeah, it was a good anchor ground, and it was. It felt hot like then, like the scene. There was so many people.
I think it was a
And
little
then-
golden period.
Yeah,
When
and
I was
now
there.
it's tainted.
I think that's what started our scene, though. Obviously,
No,
'cause
that's what started it because
Molly was hosting one of the open mics, the very first open mic I did. Molly was hosting, and I had prepared.
Was it at 12-mile limit?
No, it was. This was here in Lafayette. She traveled here to
Got
host
it.
it at the sidebar.
at Sidebar because
Yeah.
we
okay.
were hiring out the certain
Yeah.
comedy hour, and it was like at the beginning it was like Polk and Andrew Heelan and
Yeah.
Bert
Mm-hmm.
Kreischer and others. You know,
I had prepared 18 minutes.
yeah, we got a regular.
I had it down too, man. It took
you practice
me
it in the
3 or 4
mirror?
weeks. I recorded myself, sent it to all my friends. I showed up, and Molly was like, "All right, probably 5." And I was like, "What?"
Which
can't
is
even
a
get going at
lot.
five.
But I prepared 18.
Yeah.
That's what she said too. She was like, "You're lucky it's not 3."
Yeah. Yeah, in New York, a lot of the open mics were 2 minutes.
Oof.
I remember one time, as a favor, hosting an open mic at the Creek. I think it was the 11 o'clock mic. And, you know, there were so many people who are delusional or don't care about the time limit. And I was like, I do not want to be here an extra second
Yeah.
than I have to
Yeah.
be. So I took out my alarm, and for every comedian that went, I took out my phone and I set the alarm for 2, so that at 2 minutes my alarm would go off.
Nice.
Because I was like, I will not sit here through this bullshit.
Oh,
So yeah, 5 minutes is a lot.
yeah.
Yeah, I was blessed, obviously. But in the moment, I was like, "How am I supposed to trim up all this gold? Like,
Yeah.
what do I?
Yeah.
What do I do now? There's no cohesion to this.
And how much of that 18 minutes is still in your act now?
0.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Absolutely none.
But at least you made the
Yeah.
merch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oof.
All right, let's wrap this puppy up. Where can everyone find you? All our
You can
Internet.
find me on all social media at Ariel_comedy. You can go to my website, arieleliascomedy.com, for all of my tour dates. And sorry to the other Ariel Elias in Brooklyn.
Oh damn.
She was just trying to live her life as a designer. She had all the handles, and now she has a thing on her website that says, "Please note there is another comedian. There is somebody else also named Ariel Elias who is a comedian. I've done a lot of things, but I won't do that." And
stop
to
throwing
her,
cans at me.
to her, I just want to say I'm so sorry for what I've done to your life in the last 4 years. But that's where you can find me. But if you're looking for a good design, her work is great, and you should go to arielelias.com for her.
Oh, that's
You-
a clip. We'll tag her.
You know who Lisa Curry is?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so her handle is Olympian Lisa Curry because the true Olympian Lisa Curry had that and you couldn't get it, so now she gets vice
Yeah.
versa,
So she
Yeah.
purposefully stole Olympian Lisa Curry. So funny.
That's,
Hey, you can follow me at Dave Chappelle. No, just kidding.
Thank you. I'm Kevin Hart.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being here.
thanks for having
And,
me.
yeah, we
Let's
have
go do a
now.
show.
All right.
Comedy. Want to give a big shout out and thanks to our sponsor, Gator Custom Graphics. They are a local full-service sign shop specializing in banners, wide format printing, and vehicle graphics. From your business card to your storefront, Gator has your sign and printing needs covered. Check them out at gatorcustomgraphics.com.
And we are back.
We're
That
back.
was Ariel Elias, who, by the way, is recording her new special.
Yes.
Coming up. So
Make sure you check her out because
Yeah.
that hour's good. We got to see it twice.
so good.
So that show, May 4th, was exactly 10 years to the day
Yes.
from when I hosted my very first comedy show on May 4th, 2014, and the headliner was Ariel Elias.
What? How'd you get on this show?
Serendipity.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I
Where was
actually
that?
just
Was that
asked.
Sidebar?
JP's.
Oh, JP's. Okay.
Yeah, so JP's Hookah Lounge 10 years later at Club 337. Wow, Ariel has come such a long way. I'm so impressed with her.
Yeah.
She's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Living in New Orleans, moved to New York, and then boom,
Can't wait to see the
take-
special.
dodge a beer can and go to
Oh,
rot it,
yeah,
you know?
that's crazy.
You hear that?
Is that the sound of something hacking?
It's time for Hackwatch.
Hackwatch! It's everybody's favorite segment.
Yeah.
At least the comics.
I'll go first on this
All
one.
right.
I'll go first on that. As someone who books shows, who books a lot of shows, who gets a lot of people reaching out, asking to book shows, does the shows, all that stuff, check your messages timely.
Oh, yeah.
Because here's the thing. So this is social media. If you were using email or whatever, but when I'm trying to like, you know, set up show, everyone has Facebook, Instagram. That's the two that I'm communicating on. I'm not using TikTok for messages. I'm not using Twitter or anything else. Facebook, Instagram. That's the main ones that you should be messing with. But if I send a message like, "Hey, are you gonna do this show?" Yeah, or you hit me back and I'm shooting you back with times, and I'm waiting 2 or 3 days.
No, that's
Like,
too.
bruh,
No, that's
like
too long.
everyone looks
Yeah.
at your phone all day, every day. It doesn't take that long.
Yeah.
But if let's say we do a show and I record the videos and I'm like, "Hey, I shoot a message to the group. If you want your set, let me know timely." And then 2 weeks later, you send me a message, "Hey, I want my set."
It's too late.
It may not be there.
Yeah.
It may be gone. So it's just about being professional, because like someone hits me up for a show, I'm bad. I'm always on my phone. It's always handy no matter what I'm doing. I'm going to respond to, "Hey, let me get back with you real quick. Let me check some dates." But one, you're going to miss spots. And I've had people, a month goes by and they're like, "Yeah, I'll do it." I'm like, "Dude, the show's next week. We've already booked your spot."
They better not complain at that
No.
point either.
But
God.
even like I've had people 2 weeks go by, but I've had a person over a month, and I'm
If
like,
you're looking for a spot, that's ridiculous.
yeah. So just check your message, because you don't know what you're going to miss out on. Dude, there's spots that, you know, I've gotten because I happen to be checking my phone at 1 a.m. I wasn't
Yeah.
asleep yet or whatever, and I'm like, yes, I'll take it. And it could be someone last minute looking for something. But that's it. Just be responsible.
I don't know if I talked about this on the podcast yet, but this rings true with a lesson I learned in 2023 when I did Skankfest.
Oh, yeah.
I literally created an email for comedy and then never checked it. I submitted to festivals with this email and hardly ever checked it. I got accepted to Skankfest and did not see the email for over a week. And the director reached out to me on Facebook. Thank God. God bless Rebecca Trent.
God bless
but
her.
she loved my tape and she wanted me on the festival, so she reached out to me. But she did not have to do that.
No, that's crazy.
Arguably, I did not even deserve to be on that at that point anymore. When I mean, such a godsend that she did that for me. But that just goes to show you that the biggest opportunities you can miss just because you blinked and
Yeah.
just didn't think about it. And
Yeah.
since that day, when I check my Facebook Messenger and my text, I also check my emails.
Yeah.
Like I check emails every day, all day.
Yeah.
I never miss emails now.
When I check my email, I pull it up. It's going to check all my accounts at once, and it's going to tell me what I got. And then I even have a habit of every couple of days going through spam. Now, it's going to be hot, sexy women in my area, or someone gifting me $1 million from Nigeria.
Hot, sexy women that want a spot.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll take the men too. If you got $1 million, you live in Nigeria, come on down. But
You can do a type 5.
because you don't know, because I missed stuff that I saw today. I missed 2 messages that went to spam. And it wasn't anything about shows, but it was like, oh,
Yeah.
that should have been in the inbox. But I even look at message requests, Instagram message requests. I
too.
check those. Again, hot, sexy women in my area.
Yeah, if you don't look
But-
at message requests, how are you going to know that these people want to help you be better at social media and help you gain followers?
Yeah.
Dude, I got so many people in my inbox like, "Oh, I love your YouTube. Would you like to pay me $40 a month to
Would you like us help us fix it? You know, or something like that. Here's the other thing too, and I just saw the email. I have a thing on Google that lets me know anytime Lafayette Comedy's mentioned or my name, and then I'll
on what?
on Google you can set up searches where it sends you a daily digest. So
That's cool.
Yeah. So for instance, let's say that I put a show on there. So I just got an alert and it says. It says Lafayette. It says tonight at Funny Money Entertainment Group. I'm like, that's not me. And then I look, and it's like tonight at whatever venue and Lafayette Comedy Show. And I'm like, what is that? That has nothing to do with me.
Indiana.
So then I check it just to see, because like sometimes it's not. And then this one is, it says Laugh a Lot in Lafayette Comedy Show. I don't even know where this is at.
Lafayette, Texas.
But sometimes you'll see,
Yeah.
you want to catch those things. You want to catch
you want to see who's
your
talking
name.
about you.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. So Rat Pack Venue, I don't even know where that's at. But if I wouldn't have just not messed with this, then who knows what what I missed. So it's just little things. But check your social media, especially
Yeah.
if you're trying to get booked. That is the biggest thing.
That is
Lafayette, Indiana.
That
There
is
you go.
professionalism.
Yeah.
Which is a great segue into my hack watch, which is what I want to talk about. A lot of people, I think, get this feeling because comedy's fun and people are always laughing at shows, and there's a lot of times there's good vibes, there's a lot of camaraderie in comedy. A lot of people take for granted the fact that a lot of us are still trying to be professionals, right? Especially producers, people who run shows, people who have to work with venues, people who have to answer for the success of the show. Professionalism is a big deal, even if you're doing an open mic, all right? What does that mean to be professional at an open mic? Make sure you're signed up.
Step one.
Yeah. Be courteous and be friendly with people. I mean, it is important to develop these relationships, especially if you're new. But definitely the producers, right? Not all producers are going to be cool like JP is, but most of them are. I think one of the most important things, though, that I've seen a few times that I would caution people to shy away from, especially early on, is being too inebriated or too high to perform.
Yeah.
And I will tell you with utmost certainty, I have no problem at my open mic telling somebody, hey, you're too fucked up. I don't want you on stage right now.
Yeah, no.
I know this is an open mic. Doesn't matter.
It can also be a closed mic real quick.
Yeah. Me and John are responsible for how this show goes, and it's a reflection on us just as much as it is you.
I mean, let me interject. We do stoned versus drunk versus sober. So people always ask, like, how drunk do I need to get? I'm like, don't get blackout drunk.
Right.
Don't get drunk enough where I don't know, you could pee off the back of the stage, or you're going to throw stuff
water
all over
the place,
or do rock angels or whatever.
Rock angels? Oh, yeah.
Gravel
Shout
angels.
out to Maggie Shipley.
Oh, Maggie Shipley. Best set in stoned versus drunk
It might
history.
be. That might
also
be
the most
legendary.
I've ever been yelled at by one comic.
Legendary.
Because I lit her 3 times.
She fussed you for lighting her?
She violently accosted me with her mouth from the stage. It was great. It was the best thing I've ever seen.
Rock angels.
Anyway, shout out Charles for letting Maggie puke in your car. But I tell people, like, you don't have to get drunk. Like, get in spirit, get loose. Don't
Get
get
in the spirit
don't get
is a good way
blackout
to say it.
drunk. Don't get like too stoned or whatever. It's in the spirit of it.
Yep.
But yeah, and because did something happen? Do you want to?
Well, I mean, it has happened.
It has happened.
It has happened.
No, I get it. I've heard comedians say, like, I can't get on stage unless I'm drunk or high. And like, then.
Yeah,
dude. It's
and look,
lie.
I've been known to smoke weed before a show and have a few drinks before. I am trying to lay back on the alcohol. It makes me feel pretty bad and doesn't really help me in any kind of way. I don't drink enough for alcohol to ever, unless I'm doing team drunk. I don't drink enough to get drunk. So I'm just drinking for the sake of drinking.
Yeah.
And
like
I swapped to club soda. Like
I love bourbon and whiskey, so I love the taste of it. Like that's my thing. So I love that, or like my little drinks I get here, and everything. But like, I'm not like, oh, I need to get 2 in me so I can go on stage. That's dumb.
Yeah, I know. And that is, man. I know a lot of people who were like that early on and grew out of that.
Yeah.
Too. Like where it's, early on, maybe that's how people catch their nerves. But at some point you should be trying to do comedy sober.
Yeah.
Because if you think you're at your best when you're drunk or high, I seriously doubt it. Like almost all comics I see have said that when they're sober, that's when they've had their absolute best sets.
Yeah. That's why
you're sharp,
That's why you're not supposed to drive drunk.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
it's just,
right.
yeah,
Right.
I mean,
yeah. I drive better high than I do sober.
Yeah.
Whatever, bro.
If you watch the Mike Kaplan episode, that was after. So
That was fun.
I feel good. But
Slurring your
my wife
words,
goes to another room. She comes in. She goes, I can tell you're drunk because I know your words and I can hear how you're talking. I was like, okay, that's great. So,
Yeah, that was very funny.
we shouldn't record. That's why I record these with the interviews before the show.
Yeah.
But anyway, but no, I get it. So yeah,
That was Hack Watch.
that's Hack Watch. All righty, let's time for Rex
Recommendations.
All right, you want to go?
I'll go first.
All right, go for it.
I have not watched almost any stand-up comedy outside of like clips and stuff, so I haven't seen any specials in the last 3 or 4 weeks. But I'll tell you what I did watch that I want everybody to go watch, and that is Tires on Netflix, featuring Shane Gillis, Stavros Halkias, Who else is on there?
You got Tommy Pope. You got a lot
Tommy
of people.
Pope.
Yeah.
Andrew Schultz.
Yeah.
What's homegirl?
Yeah.
The OnlyFans comic. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, Karen Feehan.
Yeah, Karen Feehan's
Shout out
in
Feehan,
there.
yeah.
It is honestly a testament to the truth that comedy television and comedy movies is not dead.
Yeah.
I hear people say this all the time, and although we do live in a time period with oversaturation for sure, and not everything is funny, and things may not be on funny as average as they were in like the early to mid 2000s and the 90s, but Tires is very funny. There's a lot of funny stuff out there, and you can pretty much count on Shane Gillis being a part of it. It's gonna be funny.
Dude, so that series was out way back in the day before he got any fame, because they had that and they released it on their own. So when they were doing Gillian Keeves, that was I don't know if it was under them, but that was way back. Like they
It was
had
like a different version of it.
It was a different version of
trying
that.
to do.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
And
you
it's
can
real-
watch that.
Yep. I don't know. I'm kind of looking at it now on YouTube just to see if it's still out
That's
there.
interesting.
But yeah, some version of that, and it's good because there's no laugh track. I
No.
compare it to like The Office.
Exactly.
But it's in a
Yeah.
tire shop and it's
Yeah.
comedians, you
Yeah.
know. He is so huge right now. He was just on the new Kill Tony that just came out on Monday, and he's one of the biggest comics right now. Working.
Yeah, and he's funny.
He's funny. Dude, when we had him here in 2021, it was a week after his first special came out, and that dude was still the most humblest person
Yeah.
in the world. He's great. I love him to death. So
Yeah. Shout out. All of you got Netflix. Go watch Tires. It
Yeah.
is worth it. It's short. 20, 25-minute episodes, 6 episodes.
Yeah.
In and out. Can't wait for more.
And if
It is
you
awesome.
if you haven't watched any of the Gillian Keeves, go watch
Oh, yeah.
that. That's still
That's
on
some of the
YouTube.
best
That is
sketch- best sketches
amazing, man.
in the world.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What you got?
I have a Rex, and this is very selfish, but
Let's hear it.
so I was asked to be a guest on, and we mentioned earlier when we talk about shows on Robert Kelly's You Know What, Dude.
You know what, dude?
A huge podcast, one of the oldest podcasts.
Now Bobby's a little bit smaller now.
Okay, he's okay. I mean, they use a big lens. But if you look at the people who's been on there,
Yeah.
you know, from Segura to
Everyone.
Gillis to you name it, the biggest comics in the world. And he said a very funny thing. He goes, new studio, new cameras, and and the only way we can do this is bring in the 2 biggest comedians we can find. They couldn't make it.
Yeah.
And then,
That's how it
great.
opens.
But it was me and Jeffrey Asmus, who I
One of your
love.
favorites.
One of my
That
favorites.
must have been incredible.
One of my favorites. I rewatched his special not too long ago. The I forget what it's called. Like the something is
I'm
man.
sure you gave it as a rec already.
Yeah, I
They
did.
know.
Yeah. And it was great to be there above the Comedy Cellar, the original Comedy Cellar, looking at like who's all been there and everything else. It was amazing. I was very scared, but for good
It
reasons.
didn't come across. I feel like you were perfect. You chimed in when you needed to. It didn't feel like you were nervously trying to get in the conversation. You let Bobby and Jeff talk whenever it felt like they needed to talk, and you were a part of it too. You also, which is a good, because I could see it going both ways. Either you go in there too bullish and trying to talk too much and look like a fool, or go in there and not talk enough. And, you know, because you're so nervous, and then everybody's like, why is this guy even on the podcast? But that's not what you did. You fucking nailed it. You hit the sweet spot.
Thank you. And it was very, it was
And
it was
the
a
Ten
big
Commandments stuff was funny. Go.
Yeah, how
there's
timely
clips. There's
was
clips
that? Yeah.
online you can find. There's
Yeah.
good stuff that came out of that podcast.
So the fact that my dumb face was on there, and it was just magical. So
What a level up, man. Every year better than the last, dude.
That's it, and it's a carrot you chase, and
That's
sometimes you get the nibble on it, and then
We just
so
happen to be lucky. I think.
check it out. It's on Robert Kelly's YouTube. It's called You Know What, Dude, with J.P. Leonard and Jeffrey Asmus. That is my selfish wreck.
I guess all we got left is dates and then to say goodbye. I'll do dates first.
Go for it.
All right. Well, 7/12 and 7/13. These are days that will live in infamy.
This could be the biggest open mic we've done yet.
JP and I are going to be opening for Mark Norman at the Raising Cane's River Center and the Sanger Theater in Pensacola. I still don't think it's sunk in for me yet of how big of a deal it is for two little boys from the Bayou, big boys from the Bayou,
two husky fellas.
Yeah, to be performing in the state capitol at one of the premier venues for anything.
A huge venue. This is
a big deal.
These are 2,000, 1,800, 2,000 seaters.
And believe it or not, there's tickets. So if you're listening to this and you're in BR's surrounding areas, go pick some up. There may not be forever. 7/17, I will be at Adopted Dog Brewing. This guy right here booked me on that recently, so shout out.
We went there last night just to go wait.
Yeah.
We had an hour to kill, and we got out our car, and I was like, I may have to cancel the show because it was so hot.
It was bad?
Dude, it was bad.
All right, well, heads up.
Heads up. We made
tickets are available right now, though. People are always asking me, when are you going to be in Lafayette? When are you going to be in Lafayette? 7/17.
Yeah.
8/1, I'm going to Springdale, Arkansas. 8/2, I'm going to be in Fayetteville, Arkansas. I'm gonna be with my buddy Brennan Robar. Shout out.
What up, Bren?
Ex-Louisiana comic there. 8/3, I'm gonna be in KC, Mizzou, baby. Holla at me. 8/4, Indianapolis, coming your way. 0% chance anyone from Indy listens to our podcast.
Shout out Alex Price.
On 8/6, I'm gonna be in Ocean Springs at the Juke Joint with our buddy Krangus Gillespie. And then 8/9, 8/10, Daddy and myself are taking Josh Aaron Watts to Panama City. We're going to get some beach time. I want to get some sand in my toes, and I want to do some goddamn comedy with Jason Hedden finally. So,
wait, we're bringing Josh
Watts, yeah.
Damn it. Who books this? All right. Here we go. Hopefully this will be out before next week, but July 11th, Andrew Youngblood will be here at Club 337. His new special came out on Mark Norman's YouTube channel.
Open mic to follow.
And you've seen Andrew open for Mark here several times. And then we're doing our open mic since it's a Thursday. We're just going to do it here. So if if you're an open mic comic, you never got to step foot on the stage, come on down.
Yeah.
The next night, July 12th, Daryl Felsberg will be in town at Gator Cove. And
I'm sad that we're going to miss it, but for good reasons.
For good reasons. Sorry, Daryl. But Drew Gotro is going to be hosting that show, taking the
Lester
helm.
Hebert opening up.
And Michael Corey.
Oh, dude.
So,
wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, it'll be good. And again, we won't be here because we'll be opening for Mark Norman.
But Lafayette Comedy is in good hands.
Yeah, in good hands. Yeah. Let's see. So we got the 12th and 13th with Norman. July 14th, the Sunday, when I get back, we got Brian Posehn and JT Habersat in this room.
I will be here.
The very first show I ever did here, big show, was Brian Posehn in here 2 nights. That was 2017, I think.
Wow.
So he gets to see a better looking stage this time.
Nice.
So, and I won't be drunk because my dad's not dying again because he's dead. Anyway,
It can't happen twice.
Well, okay.
You get a new one, I guess.
I have 2 other stepdads. One already died. So let's see what happens.
I guess I'm wrong.
Yeah. All right. 7/17, we talked about Adopt a Dog. 7/18, July 18th, I'll be headlining Luna in Lake Charles with Lake Charles Comedy, who just launched their new website today.
What?
Actually, before I got here, I was actually helping Jacob. He's now using the ticket company I use.
Fantastic.
So we got that rolling. So that's good.
What a great little I-10 connection we're creating here.
There we go, baby. July 19th, Stone versus Drunk versus Sober at Rally Cap in Baton Rouge. And then July 26th and 27th, we got a packed weekend. July 26th, Amir K. He is killing it. He's out of L.A. He is Theo Vaughn's, one of his openers right now. Amir K. will be here at Club 337. And the next night, 7/27, who I got to hang out and talk with when I was in New York, Louis J. Gomez, his 3rd time back. I don't know who he's bringing.
That?
All right. So all those tickets available at LafayetteComedy.com, at Lafayette Comedy on all social media. Get on our mailing list.
Oh, yeah, I got a website, too. TheTylerA.com. My website is popping right now.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. It looks good. I'm very happy with it.
You probably need to turn the fire down. It's probably the grease.
I created it myself. I've got all my ticket links up there, man.
Yeah.
I'm happy with it.
And then I am thejpleonard.com and at thejpleonard on all socials. Again, if you're not watching this on YouTube, or if you are, hit that subscribe button on the Lafayette Comedy. Get subscribed. Check us out. We got new merch coming in, all kind of shows. Just booked some shows today. Finally bringing Anthony DeVito's coming. Got a few others
Is
that we're about to...
Danny's son?
No. Tony's. Anyway, we got a lot of shows coming. I'm working it today. I got dates throughout December. We're trying to fill up. So, yeah, more shows announced. That's it. That's all I got.
Man.
We are...
Credits, baby.
Dying
Down here.